Okay, we are back. Sorry for the technical difficulties. I hate technology, y'all. Like, it's really helpful a lot of the time, and I should be appreciative, but sometimes it really is just... Okay, so, again, good morning, everyone. Thanks for sticking with me. We are going to do Wake Up Worship Wednesday. I'm excited about it. So, but before I get started, I'm just gonna repeat everything I said in the last video since it didn't work. So, just want to start off by saying that I am sorry for the last time I did Worship Wednesday because I was like, yeah, so I'm not really good at rambling, and then I rambled for 20 minutes. So, sorry about that. Sorry for wasting y'all's time. I'm gonna move this a little closer. I feel like they're so far away from me. Okay. Oh, good morning, Shannon. Okay, so, yeah. Sorry for rambling last time. I might ramble a little bit again today, but I did come up with, some collective notes so that I wouldn't get off track for y'all. So, that's good. So we're just gonna go ahead and get started. Before I do though, I just wanted to offer some encouragement because I don't know about y'all, but recently I have just kind of found myself in a pretty big depressive slump about all of this, and it's not been fun. I find myself being really sad about it. So I was like, well, what should I do if I'm upset and I don't feel close to the Lord? Obviously, go to His Word. So I'm like, okay, there has to be a good Bible study I can read right now. So I hopped on the Bible app and on YouVersion, and I started a new Bible. There are tons of Bible studies on there right now for things relating to COVID-19. So if you're feeling the same way that I am, there are so many good ones that you can watch and that you can read and go through, just to help with the feelings that you're having. So the one that I started is called Good News. Good News, Encouragement for a World in Crisis. And the first day kind of just hit me like a ton of bricks because it goes through chapters 27 through 29 of Jeremiah, okay? And for those of y'all that don't know, basically a short little synopsis of what's happening in these chapters, okay? So, the people of, gotta look at my notes, okay. So the Israelites were taken captive by King Nebuchadnezzar, and they were taken captive and taken to Babylon. And basically God is telling them, I made the heavens and the earth. Jeremiah 27 verse 5, with my great power and outstretched arm, I made the earth and its people and the animals that are on it, and I give it to anyone I please. Now I will give all your countries into the hands of my servant Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon. I will make even the wild animals subject to him. So they're going into exile, and nobody's really excited about this, okay? They don't want to be taken from Israel, obviously. So Jeremiah is there to kind of, ease the situation and offer encouragement and be he's God's prophet at this time. So he's telling everybody hey, listen, it's gonna be okay. But during this time, Hananiah comes in and he is telling them all this false news, saying this is gonna end in 2 years. And they're like, oh, that's awesome. But then they find out later, he was not getting his words from the Lord. So Jeremiah's like, okay, well, that's not cool. So then he comes back and he's like, no, that's not right. God says we're going to be in this for 70 years. 70. Like, we haven't even been in this for, like, we've been in this for maybe 2 months. And to me, it's crazy that God is like, I made this earth so it's mine to give to whomever I please. So I'm giving it to Nebuchadnezzar right now, and you just got to deal with that. Like, that's what I want, so those are my plans for you. And basically this week kind of, it is based around Jeremiah 29:11. For I know the plans I have for you, says the Lord. They are plans for good and not for disaster, to give you a future and a hope. And, you see that verse all the time. It's a pretty popular verse. And you see it like on t-shirts and stuff, and you're like, oh, great. But if you really dig deeper into the chapter and read the story behind it, it offers so much more encouragement than just that one verse that God he knows the plans he has for you. Because he gives all of his control over for 70 years. And during this time, he's like encouraging them. Like, Jeremiah sends a letter and is telling them, like, build houses, take advantage of this time. It says in, 29 verses 4, in verse 5, build houses and settle down, plant gardens and eat what they produce, marry and have sons and daughters, find wives for your sons, give your daughters in marriage, increase in number, do not decrease. Also seek the peace and prosperity of the city to which I have carried you into exile. The Lord is like encouraging them during this time. And it's not what anybody wants, obviously. But then God goes in and he says, for I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future. Then you will call on me and come and pray to me, and I will listen to you. And I'm going to stop right there for a second, because that's the whole reason I wanted to pinpoint this, is because, God knew that I was going to seek him and call on him because I'm struggling during this time of basically exile. How cool is that? God knew that I was going to find a Bible study, search for him in his word. He knew that before I even did it. And to me, that is so cool and so awesome. And then he continues in verse 13, you will seek me and find me when you seek me with all your heart. I will be found by you, declares the Lord, and will bring you back from captivity. I will gather you from all the nations and places where I have banished you, declares the Lord, and will bring you back to the place from which I carried you into exile. And I don't know, it just gave me chills reading it again, because God says, this is what's happening. It's my earth. I'm giving it up. And I just want to highlight the point that he says he's going to even give control to Nebuchadnezzar over all the wild animals too, even. And he says it twice. It's mentioned twice in these 3 chapters. And it's like, that seems like such a minuscule detail, but if you really think about it, and you think about how much God created, he created everything. And he's giving over all of his control to all these things. He's basically saying, like, I made all this stuff. You're going to do with it what I want you to do with it, pretty much. So that's what I just want to encourage you to do, Jeremiah encourages us to take advantage of this time that we are spending in this quarantine and during this time. And he says, if you don't, he says, God told Jeremiah that if anyone didn't serve King Nebuchadnezzar, he'd punish that nation with the sword, famine, and plague. Like, we don't want to mess with God during this time. We really don't. So I would just encourage you to give all of your control over to him during this time. and just put yourself into perspective a little bit. Like Kenny actually shared, Pastor Kenny shared on his Facebook the other day, might have been yesterday actually, something to help us put our minds into perspective of, you know, what the world went through. It went through all these different monumental times that, you know, our world has gone through, like wars and plagues and other things like that we have gone through. So it helps to put yourself in worldly perspective. So I was putting myself yesterday in this worldly perspective. And then this week, then today and yesterday and this morning, I'm trying to put myself in biblical perspective too. This is what our world went through. This is what the Bible went through. The people during biblical times went through. And now we're going through a completely new and different time. But, you know, they went through war. And just, to me, when you put yourself into perspective during this time, like, it doesn't seem as bad as we are thinking it is. And by that, I don't mean COVID-19. I mean this whole situation. We shouldn't be as deterred by it as sometimes we feel that we are. So, with that, I wanted to sing So Will I this morning because I just think it's a perfect song for this situation. Some of the lyrics, the lyrics talk about, that's why I pinpointed the animals being something that God is like, I will even give control over my animals, like, because in this song it talks about everything that God created and how all of God's creations are meant to worship him. And if they are meant to worship him, then so am I. If they're going to worship him, so will I. If the stars were made to worship, if the mountains bow in reverence, if the oceans roar your greatness, for if everything exists to lift you high, if the wind goes where you send it, if the rocks cry out in silence, if the sum of all our praises still falls shy, then we'll sing again 100 billion times. So, let's sing to him this morning and proclaim that even during this time, we are going to accept the plans that he has for us, and we're going to seek him even harder and with even more love than we have in our hearts before, and we're just going to come to him and we're going to praise him, and hopefully you'll sing along with me. Let me get my lyrics together really quick here. I'm going to sing 2 songs this morning, so this will be the first one. Okay. Bear with me, this is kind of a lengthy song, but I have to scroll some, so you know the drill. All right. God of creation, there at the start, before the beginning of time, with no point of reference, you spoke to the dark and fleshed out the wonder of light. And as you speak, 100 billion galaxies are born. In the vapor of your breath, the planets form. If the stars were made to worship, so will I can see your heart in everything you've made. Every burning star, a signal fire of grace. If creation sings your praises, so will I. God Don't speak in vain, a syllable empty your void. For once you have spoken, all nature and science follow the sound of your voice. And as you speak, 100 billion creatures catch your breath, evolving in pursuit of what you said. If it all reveals your nature so alive, I can see your heart in everything you say. Every painted sky, a canvas of your grace. If creation still obeys you so alive, if the stars were made to worship so alive, if the mountains bow in reverence so alive, if the oceans roar your greatness so alive, for if everything exists to lift you high so alive, if the wind goes where you send it so alive, if the rocks cry out in silence so alive, if the sound of our praises still falls shy, then we'll sing again 100 billion times. Whoa. God of salvation, you chased down my heart through all of my failure and pride. On a hill you created, the light of the world, abandoned in darkness to die. And as you speak, 100 billion failures disappear, where you lost your life so I could find it here. If you left the grave behind you so alive, I see your heart and everything you've done, every part designed in a work of art called love. If you gladly chose surrender so alive, I can see your heart 8 billion different ways. Every precious one, a child you died to save. If you gave your life to love them so alive, like you would again 100 billion times, but what measure could amount to your desire? You're the one who never leaves the one behind. Amen. So that song just kind of spoke to me in the last 24 hours. Because God knows the plans that He has for us. And if all of His creation will worship Him, then so will I. And hopefully, so will you. So, on a more upbeat note, I am going to introduce to y'all a new song. It's probably not new to y'all because it's been all over Christian radio. So hopefully that means you guys will actually sing along with me because I can't hear you, but hopefully you're singing along. But we are going to be singing this song with the worship team on Sunday to start our new sermon series, Backpacking. So I wanted to sing it for y'all today to get you familiar with it, so you can be experts and really sing along, sing your hearts out on Sunday. So, drum roll please. New song is Holy Water. So I'm really excited about this one. It's one of my favorite songs right now. So I'm gonna sing it. Sing along with me. God, I'm on my knees again. God, I'm begging, please again. I need you. Oh, I need you. Walking down these desert roads, water for my thirsty soul. I need you. Oh, I need you. Your forgiveness is like sweet, sweet honey on my lips, like the sound of a symphony to my ears, like holy water on my skin. Dead man walking, slave to sin. I wanna know about being born again. I need you. Oh God, I need you. So take me to the riverside, take me under baptized. I need you. Oh God, I need you. Your forgiveness is like sweet, sweet honey on my lips, like the sound of a symphony to my ears, like holy water on my skin. Alright, sing it out. I don't want to abuse your grace. I don't want to abuse your grace. God, I need it every day. It's the only thing that ever really makes me want to change. And I don't want to abuse your grace. God, I need it every day. It's the only thing that ever really makes me want to change. Oh, I don't want to abuse your grace. God, I need it every day. It's the only thing that ever really makes me want to change. Oh, I don't want to abuse your grace. God, I need it every day. It's the only thing that ever really makes me want to change. Your forgiveness is like sweet, sweet honey on my lips, like the sound of the symphony to my ears, like holy water. Your forgiveness is like sweet, sweet honey on my lips, like the sound of a symphony to my ears, like holy water on my skin. Yeah, it's like holy water on my skin. Oh, it's like holy water. All right. So, amen. That's a good song. Love that song. So, if you want to hear it sung definitely better than how I just did it, then Tune in on Sunday because we're going to have some more people singing along with us too. Some people that we haven't seen in a while. So that's exciting. Some worship team members. And just the scene where we're doing it is pretty cool. So you look older. Thanks, John. I feel so much older. Let me tell y'all. 25 hits different. I had a birthday recently, last week. And adulting is weird because literally my sink flooded on my birthday. So that was fun. I had to take everything out from underneath my sink and had to have maintenance come and fix my sink. So that's how 25 hits. But thanks for tuning in, y'all. Tune in on Sunday at 10 a.m. for our online service for our first week of Craig Morgan has a version of this? Interesting. Thanks, Amanda. Tune in for our first week of our new series, Backpacking. Guys, you won't want to miss this series. It's going to be really awesome. So, tune in for that and tune in for Holy Water. Hopefully you'll all be singing along with me again on Sunday. Thanks for joining us and happy Wednesday. Hope you have a good rest of your Wednesday, good rest of your week, and yeah, see you Sunday.